Continuing on with our segment about agriculture as ingredients and food products, today I just want to remind you that it is Earth Day, and so agriculture and the farmers and ranchers and those who work in the industry regard the earth and all the resources that it provides to us so we can do what we do. Many of us are in voluntary conservation plans that have a lot of sustainability practices, so we are continually improving our soil, water, and air quality, not only on our farms, but for the earth and the world in general. So this week I'm going to share about why and how we do what we do to be better stewards of the earth's resources. So this is happening right now. California and Colorado are dealing with major ballot initiatives right now that, if passed, will do a lot of damage to the ag industry. People that don't understand, people that aren't asking the questions or getting the facts impact what we do every single day. And that's not fair to us, and it's also not fair to the animals. Farmers and ranchers don't do what they do because of fear of lawsuits. Again, they do it because it's the right thing to do. You don't need a law that's gonna tell you don't harm your dog or cat. It's morally right and instinct to care for that animal. It's the same for us with farm animals. There's just more of them. So that's why it's a job. It's an everyday thing because it doesn't stop. All these animals need to be fed. All these animals need to be watered. They all need to be cared for. Made sure they're healthy. Pull ones out that are sick. We do that. And we don't need laws to tell us to do that. As far as feed, most farms and ranchers have their own nutrition programs. Some go as much as to being computerized, where you plug all the ingredients in, you find out if it's balanced, what to add or remove, how much. This is especially very critical in the dairy industry. When I worked in there, I was a lead feeder and helped the nutritionists that worked on many different farms. Different products that we could get in and different commodities we would plug in to make sure the diets and the rations were balanced every day. Otherwise, that does lead to issues with the milk production and, again, the digestive system, because cows have 4-chambered stomachs and they function completely different than just an animal like a pig that just has one stomach. As far as space, animals also require a minimum number of square footage in acres. And many farmers already provide more than that minimum because they realize that minimum just does not fit their farm. It's not sufficient. And they have more. So they want to make sure their land isn't overgrazed. They want to give as much grass as they can to that animal. Sows and farrowing crates are a big issue when we talk about space, but it's a safety issue, and usually they're only in there for about 30 days. Farmers have the option to do what they think is best for their operations. At some point, like during the mating process, they are usually in crates. Other than that, when they're not bred, most of the time, they can be in group housing. They take care of them the best that they can so that they're healthy, they're not hurting each other. Pigs can get very aggressive with each other. Pigs will choose, especially at feeding time, to go into a crate. That way they're not fighting for the food. And as farmers and ranchers, we know they're getting the amount of food. There isn't a big bully pushing them out of the way, eating their food. So again, they stay healthy and they're not lacking in anything. Many farms and ranches use the manure to fertilize the land to grow the feed for their animals. They grow crops that are going to feed their animals so they don't have to buy that product, and then they're going to use the byproduct from the animal and put it back on the land to grow the crop. So again, that conservation and utilizing your resources, it's all a big circle. Ag is already heavily regulated by the EPA, USDA, and other federal agencies. There are regulations on how and when the fertilizer can be applied, and if not, yes, you can be fined. When it comes to the crops, we can only spray our crops at certain times, and we have to have an applicator's license. So the EPA drives around during its spraying season, and they can spot check us while we're spraying at any time. Check our paperwork, check the wind speed, check the temperature. We have to have the label of the chemical we're applying. Our tank has to be mixed exactly the same as the label on the bottle says, or we can be fined. So the misnomer of all these pesticides in your grain crops is false, and same with antibiotics in your meat, in your milk. They all get tested, and some products multiple times before they get to the store on your plate. antibiotics in your meat and your milk. It is not something that happens. So we are very, very careful about that as farmers and ranchers. The people that haul our products are very, very careful about that, as well as the people who take and process that product. So it is singly checked, doubly checked, sometimes triple checked, to make sure that those products are safe to go to you as a consumer.